There you go. We're live.
Hello, everyone in Facebook land. It's so great to be here today. And this is our Thursday lunch and learn. And we're going to be talking to one of our Purse Strings approved professionals, Rosalyn. And she's dialing in just now, but we wanted just to kick off and give a little background about Purse Strings. Purse Strings was created so that all women have a destination location to go to for any questions they have or any resources they need to access. Anytime they have a financial question, a transaction, investment, they just don't know who to turn to. So often, women would say to us, "Who can I go to? Who can I trust?" So that was a big question where we said we're going to pull together top tier financial professionals so that women do have a trusted resource they can go to at any point in time. And, this includes not only financial professionals in terms of financial planners and advisors, but we also have lenders and realtors and financial coaches and divorce coaches and all sorts of attorneys. So, anytime, ladies, you are coming across a financial decision, discussion, or investment, and you have some questions, just go to purstrings.co. We have a host of resources. Oh, here's Rosalyn. We have a
Hello.
host of resources. Hi, Rosalyn, on our site. And as you can see, financial professionals that are willing and ready and able to come to the table and offer their expertise. And here's Rosalyn Hanson today. So I'll let Maggie take over and give an introduction, but we're so glad you're here. As always, every Thursday, Purse Strings provides lunch and learn with a great topic for your life. And we're always open to other discussions as well. So throw your topics our way and we'll get your questions answered. So take it away, Mags.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So glad to have you on today, Rosalyn. We're going to have a quick session just about budgeting, kind of getting the new year off right onto a good budgeting footprint, making sure we remember those annual, biannual payments, some other fun stuff like that. But before we just jump in, Rosalyn, I'd love for you to give a little introduction about yourself.
Yeah, of course, of course. Well, it's nice to virtually meet all of you. And so I am a financial planner. I hang my registration at Northwestern Mutual. So I can tell you a little bit about the company is that we're a Fortune 100 company and we're about 160 years old, privately held. So we avoid conflict of interest. I feel really good about the company that I work for. I came from a small registered investment advisory previously, and then I moved my practice about a year ago, and Northwestern Mutual was really the best of the best. So that's why I ended up going with them. And then me personally, I am in the finance sphere because I have witnessed on more than one occasion what it's like when proper planning doesn't get done. I have seen a couple of girlfriends' failed businesses, which is really sad to see, especially now that I know I could have helped them, right? It's just sometimes it's key information that they don't have that to me now is almost passe, right? It's like that kind of stuff I know, and I know it inside and out. And if I'd known it then, I could have helped them. And then there was an event with my grandmother with long-term care that lasted about 10 years. And that's $1 million expenditure. And women specifically need to be aware of that because we live longer and we are more likely to have a long-term care event that lasts between 5 and 10 years. A man is much less likely. It's just much less of a risk for him, even as that number grows every year. And that's an expenditure that you have to be planning for. Otherwise, you're going to end up with your retirement and your estate torpedoed. And I just can't have that. I need women to be able to create generational wealth and pass it down to their children. That is important for me, and it's a goal of my practice.
Done. Mic drop. She's got it all right there. That's everything we need to know. No, but I love it. I mean, we do need to talk about that long-term care. We do typically live longer than men. We take care of people our whole life, and it's the one kind of time we need someone to take care of us. We don't want to put that on our kids. It's a whole thing. So thank you for coming on. You got some great stories, and I can feel the passion behind the work that you do, which is awesome. So today, new year, new me, getting started with this budget. I was first gonna, kind of ask you, what are some different budgeting methods that you recommend? Or I don't know if you call them a spending plan. Some people don't like to use the B word. And so whatever way you like to think about it, what are some tips to get started?
Well, I do like to use the B word. I think that the budget is essential. It's the place where I start all of my planning conversations with my clients. I can't really do anything until I know what's coming in and what's going out every month. What's the surplus? Are you already contributing? Do you have pre-tax contributions coming out? Do you not? Do you have too many? That's a big conversation in today's environment. So I would say that that is actually something that I look at when I'm looking at the budget conversation when we're initially having that. I'm looking at pre-tax contributions to things like your 401k. I'm looking at contributions to like your Roth IRA, the things that you're already doing to save for your retirement. If you're doing those things are actually a really big and important part of the budget conversation. And if we can't talk about those, if I can't see that, then I honestly don't know what's already happening. So a big part of the budget is understanding what do you already have in retirement savings? What does your 401k look like? What are you contributing to it? Are you maxing out your Roth? Can you even contribute to a Roth? Are you above the limit? Are you below the limit? A lot of people don't think of those questions. When they think of budget, they think exclusively of, okay, what is my income? What comes in every single month? And what's coming in net, first of all, what's actually hitting my bank account? And then what's going out at the end of every month when I pay off that credit card bill. And those are really important. I need to know those things. And keeping track of those things is something that honestly, I think only about 20% of my clients have done when they get to me initially. That, especially for women, you're not keeping track of those things because you're just like, okay, I can pay off the credit card bill at the end of every month, so it's fine. I have kids. I have a partner. I have a job. Maybe I have a job and a business. I'm taking care of my mother. There's a lot that women are doing that comes to the top of the list, and budget is kind of last when they first get to me. The good news about that is that it's highly fixable. And so that's one of the first things I do with my clients is when I take on a new client, I have a monthly budget worksheet that I send to them. And I say, awesome. You know what? Sometimes it's easy just to fill this out as the month actually happens. This will give me a really accurate picture. Like I tell my clients sometimes, honestly, just to open up their Amazon account and see what the average every month that their spending is, because that can give me a really accurate picture of like discretionary spending. As I know, I can feel, especially as a woman who's trying to keep track of, 10 balls in the air at any given time, I know it can feel really overwhelming. Trying to keep track of your budget. It can actually be really simple. And it's not that I need every single line item, I just need to understand, and sometimes we do this. We really just look at the Amazon balance on the credit card. It's like, I just need to see what's getting spent every month. I'm not here to judge you what's getting spent. I don't care. It's fine. You can spend it on whatever you want. I just need to know what is coming in, what is going out. What do we have to work with? And then what have you already contributed to any kind of retirement registration? Those are the big budget questions. And if you're thinking about speaking with a financial advisor, those are going to be the first things that if they're not asking you those things at first, then you're thinking big picture.
All great tips there. And I love how, you even start saying only 20% of the women who come in probably already have this done. And so everyone always thinks, I'm the only one who doesn't have X, Y, and Z together. No, the majority of us don't, and these are things that even you have to work proactive. It's never a one and done. You have to keep working on it and being proactive. Yeah, don't be ashamed. You're not the only one, but let's step into this. Let's get it done. And I really like how you think past the day to day, but your 401k and your future and things like that, because we forget about those things while we're juggling 10 other balls. It's not hard to do.
100%.
And so what would you say some of the big pitfalls are when people start budgeting? Is there anything that always jumps out to you that you'd like to put a little reminder on?
Yeah, I think that some of the biggest pitfall, I think not understanding what your deductions are is a pretty big thing. I would say that nobody knows what their deductions are actually when they first talk to me. Like, forget that 20%. I don't think anybody really knows. So one of the things that I ask for after that first meeting is pay stub. I need to see pay stub. Mm-hmm. And people think of pay stub, they're like, oh, that's just, she wants to see what my income is. No, I don't need to see what your income is. You told me what it is. That's the easy part. I need to see like what your deductions are, and I need to understand, are they taking out too much? Are you not taking advantage of something that's available at work that you should be taking advantage of? Those are pretty big questions initially, because I need to understand what your relationship with the company that you work for is, or if you own your own business, I need to understand, okay, is there like a huge gap in terms of what you would usually be offered at an employer? Or do you already have private policies? You're taking care of that kind of thing. That's, I would say, a really big pitfall is I run into that. People are totally unaware that like they are not taking advantage of their work's disability insurance or something like that, because that's available. People can usually get 60%. And especially my clients who are, starting families, right? They're not paying attention. And when it comes time to do their benefit selection, they're like, okay, I got to get my husband, I got to get my wife on my insurance, and I got to figure that out. And that's it. That's where it stops. And they just kind of pick the options. Another big pitfall when it comes to budgeting, and remember the retirement accounts, I think about like the retirement accounts that you're having your deductions taken from in your paycheck or out of your paycheck. I think of that as part of budgeting. So one of the other big pitfalls is that in their 401k, they are allocated poorly. And what that means is that when your HR lady gave you the form, you picked the thing at the top and you were like, okay, it's in the market. I did what I'm supposed to do. And usually when I audit those statements, what happens is I'm looking at it and you're getting like a 2% rate of return because you chose something really conservative and you're 33. And I'm like, what is this? Who did this? Who chose this for you? Or I'll see like a target date fund, which is, there's a lot of things that go on with target date funds. They're really, really popular for 401ks, retirement plans at work, because it's kind of like the lowest maintenance, easiest thing that your company can offer you. And they can say, look at this. This is designed for retirement. You can say, I want this target date 2060. But what happens is they sell out of those portfolios to make them automatically more conservative on a 5-year timer. And they don't care what the market's doing when they do that. They just sell. The timer goes off, market's down 30%. Who cares? They sell. And then you're locking in these losses and you're only getting 2% and you're just hemorrhaging fees. So I would say that when people first come to me, when we're looking at the first part of the conversation, budget and deductions, that is probably the biggest pitfall, is that what they're currently invested in is not doing them any favors.
I love it. And, I love how it doesn't start with, people don't cut out their coffee or things like that. You look at things that are already being done, how you're already spending your money, really looking at those investments. You might be realizing that you're not matching to your full capacity. And just that little step could really, take a little bit out of your paycheck and add a lot to your future and really help that budget, be more sound. So it's great that you look at these work benefits or other benefits that they might have to really, be most successful.
I'm not interested in telling someone to cut their Starbucks habit. Like, it's just, honestly, it's not going to make a huge difference. If I can do of what's already getting saved, like, I can be much more impactful if I can alter what's happening currently in your 401k, or I can tell you, this isn't doing you any favors. Or if we move your funds from some place where you're, paying 6% in fees. I had a client yesterday who was paying 6% in fees, and I was like, no, I don't care. Like, buy a coffee 5 times a day. I don't care. I'm so much more impactful if you let me fix this problem.
Exactly. I love that. And then what are some tips that you have about these fun annual, biannual payments that kind of come around and say, surprise? How do you kind of bring those into your budget and have more preparedness around that?
So you mean, like, are we talking like automatic monthly payments, or are we talking like car insurance every 6 months? What are we talking about?
Yeah, I'm thinking more like car insurance every 6 months. Sometimes, it's a program that you pay once a year, and, but it might be a couple grand that, it's not my everyday budget.
Not your everyday budget, but yeah. Okay. So this is actually the kind of thing that comes up all the time, because people belong to wine clubs, or they have work that needs to be done on their car, and it happens like
Mhm.
once a year, and so you've got to pay $5,000 once a year. So those expenses are actually the kind of thing that when I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking about you as a whole person, and your whole plan is this like living, breathing thing that's changing all the time, I like to be conservative with what I want to budget for. So there's the daily budget and there's like the monthly budget. Like, what are you spending? What's left over? And then there's budgeting long term. So in that first conversation that I have with my new clients, the first conversation, really, we're not even talking about concrete numbers. We're talking about pie in the sky numbers, like what usually happens when you go on vacation. How much do you usually spend? What about, your car? Does it need work? Does it usually need work? Are you going to spend maybe $3,000 on it this year? And they go, oh yeah, probably. People aren't thinking about that. When I ask that question, they haven't already thought about that. They put that in the category of reactive. We're going to be reactive to this cost. And they do it with vacation too. They say, okay, we're going to be reactive to this $10,000 that I'm going to spend to take me and my partner and my 2 kids on vacation. No, we can plan for that. That's a cost that we know is going to happen. We don't know where you're going on vacation. Maybe you're going to Africa. Maybe you're going to SoCal. But we can plan.
But you're going.
You're going. You're going to go somewhere. You have to take vacation. My clients who don't take vacation because they get nervous about spending money, I'm like, no. All you have to do is tell me you're going to do it. And then we put it in the plan. And then we plan for it. And I take that into account when I'm laying out your strategies. Like vacation, buying the extra coffee, going shopping, all those things are highly doable. People just feel that they're not, especially women, because they're so concerned about their families and I need to save enough and I don't have enough. They always feel like they are not doing enough. The thing is you can be doing enough, and you probably already are doing way more than enough. If you tell me about these costs, if you say like, oh, I do want to go on vacation twice a year, and this is what it usually costs for me and the kiddos and the partner, or just me and my partner, whatever. If you tell me those things, we just roll them in, and then paying for those things becomes an expected cost, something we knew was going to happen, we planned adequately for, and you don't have to worry that you're straining the budget because I told you it was okay. You can ask me, you say, hey, Ross, can I go on vacation? My clients ask me that all the time. They say, hey, is it still fine if yes, it's fine if you go on vacation because you told me 2 years ago when we started. So I think that's like dealing with those like sometime costs, whether they're the fun vacation things or whether they're the car insurance twice a year or the paying for the car, just planning for them really takes that obstacle away.
And it sounds like on your vacation, you could just be so much more relaxed, not like, oh, this is putting me in $10,000 of debt, but it's like, oh, this is paid for. I don't have to go home and work my butt off because I went on this nice trip. It's just like, oh, now I can just enjoy my bliss.
Yes, it's just about being proactive versus reactive. Honestly, that is the solution to a lot of the problems that people come up against with money.
Definitely. So packed with so much great information. Before we finish up here, are there any other tips, tricks, or anything else that you would like to share with our audience getting ready for budgeting in this new year?
I think that getting ready for budgeting in the new year, I think being hard on yourself for what you did last year is a big thing that I hear about, like guilt with don't do that. That you're just going to get in your own way. You're going to get in your own way. Open up a Google sheet, okay? Open up a Google sheet. Write out all the things you know that you're going to spend money on, and then you'll be surprised you'll forget stuff. You'll forget like subscriptions and things. Don't allow that stress to like constrict you to the point of not being able to do it. I think that starting with a good budget, understanding where your money goes, can really give you a sense of control. That I think a lot of women feel very out of control when it comes to their finances. That is what I see most often. And even my own mother, who managed financial advisors for 35 years, her current financial advisor, she trained, and then he worked under her for 15 years, right? She is in good hands that she trained herself, and still my mother panics about budget and things like that. Josh and Shane tell her, you're fine. You can do this. You can do that. You can do the other thing. And she doesn't believe them. So I think the biggest thing is give yourself a break. Write down all the stuff that you spend money on in your Google sheet You will feel so much more in control after that. Just understanding and knowing where the money is going, whether you feel it's over budget or not, just knowing that gives you a huge amount of control back. It will make you feel like you are in charge of your life, of your destiny, right? Like this is the first step. And then after that, you can talk to somebody, you can talk to a professional, and you can get a plan started. Just knowing that it's in somebody else's hands, I feel, can really help. Even if you're type A like my mother, okay? Who has her moments of panic, and I'm type A too. I'm so type A, right? I have my moments of panic, but because I know that I personally have a plan in place, I feel good about it. I feel fine. I can just take that breath and relax. So honestly, for the new year, I think the best gift you can give yourself is just clarity and understanding where your money is. Don't put it in the closet anymore. Talk about it with a professional. Get a plan. Get a plan. Be proactive. I think these things are just, they pay dividends for the rest of your life.
Definitely. Having someone help you with your finances, definitely worth the investment. And we always like to bring up, you hire someone to do your teeth, you hire someone to cut your hair, you hire someone to clean your house. There's nothing wrong with having someone help you manage your money either. It's no sign of weakness or out of it or anything else. You studied for this. You're the professional, not me. That's why, you can do these things and have these expertise to really help out. So there's really no shame in around calling someone up, because that's really the whole point. That's why they're here.
Yeah, there's no shame. And it's also, the thing with women is A, that it's shameful to ask for help, and B, that this isn't for them. That financial advisors are for wealthy white men. It's for them. Oh no, it's not just for the wealthy white guy, fat cat. It's not for him. It's for you. You're in charge of your life. You're in charge of your family. The person who needs financial planning is you. And also, I like to point this out. Over the next 20 years, 2/3 of the wealth in America is going to belong to women. That's
true.
A controlling share, my friends. You need to
That's over 50%. I can tell you that much.
Yes, it is. Well, controlling share is only 10%. At this point, you're in charge. You're the CEO of what's happening at this point. If you've got 60, 75%, you're in charge. So specialists, I think, are what make the world go round. That's how humans are. We're specialists, okay? I don't want to fix my own car. I don't want to cure my own illness, right?
Yeah.
Have somebody help you. And it's not out of your reach. It is not financially out of your reach, and it's going to put you in such a good place. You're going to be in control. And that's what I always say. That's the first conversation I have with my women clients is, this is for you. And this is going to change your life.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's a great note to end on. Just so much empowerment. Let's step up. Let's do this. Let's get rocking and rolling. So thank you so much, Rosalyn, for coming on today. You are one of our Purse Strings Approved professionals, so you could check her out on our site, pursestrings.co. Is there any other websites or social you would like them to check you out on?
Yes. Here, shall I put it in the chat?
We could pop it in the comments when we're done if you just want to share it out loud. And
I have a landing page at northwesternmutual.com. It's just www.rosalynhanson.nm.com. Very simple, very easy. I'm sure they'll make it available to you. I've got all my links on there. My email is there. You can shoot me a message. There's not a whole big to-do. Just send me an email and say, hey, I don't have control of my life or my budget. Can you fix it? And I will say,
so you're sick Facebook Live and I'm reaching out.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. I'm here for you. And I am easy to talk to. You don't have to talk to one of those stuffy boys in their suits, right?
That's why we have our Purse Strings Approved professionals. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So
it was really good to meet you all virtually, even though I can't see you. It's great to be here in the presence of a bunch of women who want to get control of their lives and their power.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again. We'll be back here next week at noon Central. And until then, let's get financially fearless.
Fabulous. Love it. It's good to see you, Maggie.
Nice to see you too. Bye.
Bye.